we are going live now on our YouTube channel. So many parents have requested because of some engagement they couldn't make it, so that they can see it later. That's the reason we are going live. Okay. Right. So let's move. This webinar is prepared by Sahyog team, and I have one of our experienced teacher, Alice. She will be walking you through some exam style questions in this session and tips and tricks. And also we have some online tests free of cost that will be provided on your email ID. You can log in online on our learning management system and would be able to access that question paper. All questions are exam style, majorly asked in GL and FSC exams, which will be very beneficial for you. So listen to Alice when she starts and apply that knowledge to solve the questions online, which we'll be providing you access on. Okay. Right. So Sahyog Academy, I believe most of you are familiar with this name, has been helping students for almost a decade now. And 7K is the old number. It's tallying now roughly about 10,000 students. All the students placed in one grammar school or other. Our students are in top grammar schools in UK. They have passed successfully GCSE and A levels, and now in top universities as well. So it has been a great journey. We received a lot of testimonials and feedback from uni students as well as parents who have benefited from this initiative way back in 2015, 2016, which was a journey started after seeing so much gaps in the market and there was no transparency and honesty on many places, and cost was very high. We were paying roughly about 99 and 150 pound for a mock test, if I recall correctly, in 2015-16. Things have changed a lot since, and it has become apparent and transparent and honest all around. So this is something, a fact we have seen since 2015 and 16. Right. Moving on. So yes, this is 11 plus webinar on NVR. So just introduction, 11 plus exam syllabus, right? Because year 7 entry, when child turns 10 year, they're writing exam to get into admission to secondary school when they turn 11. Course curriculum more or less remains the same, but private schools follows a different set of curriculum, I would say, or different set of difficulty level as opposed to grammar schools. Grammar schools, if I talk about CSSE, which is for SX schools, their exam standard is more or less private schools, because there we see applied reasoning, applied mathematics, and English, and we are very small portion, but they focus on applied maths and English, especially on creative writing and comprehension. Okay. Next. So what are the subjects? I think all kids know and parents know English, maths, verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning, but in some cases, like I just said, CSSE, it doesn't have non-verbal reasoning, but GL, most of the exams of flavors, I would say, whether it is GL Kent or GL Redbridge or Slough or other GL formats, most of them has got non-verbal reasoning. Earlier, it used to be CEM, SAM, but now since last 2 years, because SAM has stopped producing the paper and supporting 11 plus community, schools, etc. Most of the schools are going to be adopting GL pattern or FSC if we talk about GEMS for girls, which is same as Reading schools. But GL, just to clarify, it has got multiple flavors. GL Redbridge, which is for Redbridge schools, Ilford County and Woodford County. And GL Kent, you have got roughly about 50, 60 grammar schools or more. Then Baxley more or less follow the same format like in Redbridge. And we have QE, right? There is no NVR in Queen Elizabeth Boys School, whereas in HBS first round, you will see NVR. So it depends actually which GL or which school you're targeting for. You should be very, very clear. And if any parent or any child having any sort of doubt in GL pattern and which school, what flavor, what questions comes up, feel free to send us an email or call at our hotline number, which is available on our website, or you can call me direct at 07585707535. We provide free advice and consultation in terms of 11 plus process. We also plan to run a session on this process very soon, but if you have any doubt, please feel free to call. Okay. Exam providers, it is up to each school which subjects they test and how. Like Orpington, it doesn't follow any examining body standard. They have their own exam, right? So it depends. Like CSSE basically is a consortium of 4 schools. GL Redbridge, they decided to have Maths, English, VR, and NVR. But HBS, they have 2 sets of paper, round 1 and round 2. Round 1 is GL, but round 2 is not GL. It's more or less like CSSE exam. It's basically up to the school what subject they want to test and how they want to test. So this is a table we have prepared. As you can see on the column, exam board on the leftmost column, on the right side, you can see
sorry. Someone is behind. There is some disturbance. Can you ask everyone to mute themselves, please?
Yes, please. If you all can go to mute, that would help us to run this session smoothly. And this session is available on YouTube as well, so you can take a look later. Please be quiet. I can see all on mute. All right, cool. Let's continue. So as you can see, CEM is no more, which is the second or third column, but we have just put it here because it was very active exam 2 years back. We have Kent test, which is nothing but GL Kent flavor, and certain selective eligibility test, SET, and ISEB. Little table, you can take a look later, which subject they are testing. You can see cross marks over here and tick mark. Right, it will be available offline, and we can share this video link as well. Right, so GL, you can see here, assessment is a leading provider for 11 plus admission testing in the UK. They administer the majority of the tests for 11 plus exams. Last 2 years has been really a transformation after SAM decided not to support 11 plus community or schools. They stopped producing the papers, and GL has taken over, or schools has adopted GL pattern since last 2 years. It's the major examining body, I would say, in UK at the moment. In our region, where we have in Essex, CSSE is another consortium which is conducting exam for 4 main schools, as you know, CAGS, Colchester, and Southend and Westcliff, right? That's not GL, that's CSSE. but GL is majority of the schools have adopted last 2 years, right? Okay. And non-verbal is the major part or one of the important part of the examination. And why it is because it's processing graphic information, following patterns or rules, applying mathematical skills such as rotation, reflection, and symmetry, use of spatial awareness, and applying logical thinking and problem solving skills. So it's basically to test the analytical skills of the students and how sharp their mind is in terms of selecting in their schools. Okay, what are the specific topics covered in GL NVR test or subtopics of NVR or types of NVRs? What are main types basically on which the students will see the questions? So very, very important, odd one out, rotation, chord breaking, like shapes identification, missing sequence, missing squares, and most alike nets. Nets is one of the difficult NVR subtopic, I would say, where students need to pay attention. This is something we have a webinar was run by Sahyog in past. Probably we'll run one more specific to nets and how kids can solve the question or exam style questions. Today we are focusing on a different topic, but it will be something planned very soon in future. Right. The CAN test, which is, as I said, is the largest grammar school area in the UK, and as a result, it runs its own 11 plus test. It's a GL flavor. Can you please go on mute? Just a second. This test is also provided by GL assessment, and the CAN test and GL assessment exams, definitely it's a flavor of GL. It has got maths, English, VR, NVR. NVR a little bit extended, special reasoning, plus it has got creative writing as well, which is not marked until it is required, a different rule for that. But main subjects are maths, English, VR, and NVR. ISEB, Independent Schools Examination Board. The questions and question types found in this exam are very similar to those which appears in 11 plus GL exams. We are not going in detail today. And non-verbal reasoning in ISEB, you can see analogies, like classes, horizontal chords. Right, so today in this webinar, we will be focusing on shape chords. And we have our expert with us, Alice, who would be walking you through the rest of the part of this webinar. And then we end at question and answer session. You can write your questions on the chat box, or you will get a chance to speak up. Till then, please stay mute and listen to Alice. Alice, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Alice Bennett, and I will be walking you through towards our class. So the topic that we have selected today is called as shape codes. So as we know, just by looking at the topic, shape codes, we are focusing on shapes and codes, right? So let's understand it in detail. All right. Okay. So the topic shape codes, when we talk about, is actually comes under also verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning. When we talk about codes specifically, it talks about it talks about specifically something that is hidden, right? So something that we need to decipher while looking at the question. In verbal reasoning, codes talk about letters and words. But when we talk about non-verbal reasoning, it talks about an array of shapes and only letters. So we just have to observe few shapes and letters, and just by looking at the letters, we have to find out what code is it. So how are we going to do it? Let's understand further. So first of all, whenever we are talking about any topic of non-verbal reasoning, we have to start from the basic. We have is the topic about? What are we doing in the topic? In these questions of shape codes, students will be presented with various shapes or symbols because non-verbal reasoning is all about shapes and symbols. So what are we supposed to do? Each shape and symbol would be assigned a specific letter. So each shape, and inside each shape, there would be different symbols which will be paired with unique set of letters as their code. But we are not sure which letter is the code of which symbol inside. So this is where the challenge lies. The challenge is to decipher these scores based on the given clues. Now, the best part and the most fun part about the topic is all the clues are also given in the question itself. So you have to act like a detective in these type of topics where you are looking for secret codes that's hidden inside the topic, and then those codes are going to help you to solve the question. So why do we study shape codes in general? So like what does it help us? So this exercise sharpens students problem solving skills by adding visual elements and logical fun in the learning process. And the most important part that we all need to understand is it's just a good exercise for the brain. So rather than stressing ourselves, let's enjoy it. Let's move further. Okay, let's understand this topic with the help of an example, because when we do example, we understand better, right? So first of all, I can see we have some blocks, and inside each block, I have two letters and one shape, right? So we have four blocks. In number 1, 2, 3, and 4, we will take one by one each block and then understand the code. In number 1, I can see a triangle that is gray in color, and we have two shapes, we have two letters, sorry, Z and R, okay? In number 2, I can see a circle that is also gray in color. So I found one similarity. When I was observing the shapes, I found one similarity. The similarity says that two of the shapes are different, but the color is same. This is what you have to understand. Whenever you're observing a shape, you have to observe each and every part. So while doing it, I understood that, okay, the color is same. Also, I can observe that R is given in both of the shapes, in both of the blocks. So that means R here is the code for the color inside. In the triangle, I have gray and also R written. In the circle, I have gray and also R written. So here we can understand that R is for the gray color. Next up, we have again a circle, but now we have some bubbles inside. And we have Q and M. Now, let's get back to the second shape. In the second shape, I can see circle. In the third block, I can see circle. And I can also see Q and Q here. What does that mean? That means that the Q here signifies the shape, the type of shape. So the letter that is on the top shows what is the shape, and the letter on the bottom shows what is the design inside, what is the pattern inside. Now, we have to find a code for the triangle with the bubbles. Remember what we understood? The top part will tell you what type of shape is it. So the shape is a triangle, right? Now, the triangle here shows Z. The top part shows Z. That means the shape should be Z on top. Now, the bottom part should be showing the design and the pattern. So on the bottom, we have M. That means the correct shapes would be Z and M, which is A. So now we understand the correct answer or the correct code we can say for the fourth block is Z and M. I hope the example was clear and we can move forward. If you have any questions, you can ask or else we can move forward. All right. So after the example, now it's time for us to understand some of the tips and tricks for solving the question. Now, there is always a long way to go there and some short tricks to solve. And when we are sitting in a competitive exam, we have to look for some shortcuts. Now, these tips and tricks, we can't say it's shortcuts, but we can say some kind of help that will ease out the pain in our journey. So these tips and tricks will help you to do the questions quickly while keeping the time limit in mind. Let's see what are the tips and tricks. First of all, whenever you're observing the shape, you should start with observing or counting the sides and angles. For example, the previous example that we did, I was observing what kind of shape it is. Is it a circle? Is it a triangle? What kind of shape is it? So counting sides and angles will always help you. Next is note curves and lines. Determine if the shapes that are mentioned, is it made up of straight lines, curved lines, or combination of shapes? These clues will have straight effect on the codes that's given in the question. Now, also observe shape transformation. How the shape is transforming from one block to another block. Look for rotation and reflection. Sometimes we can see the same shape, but the shape can be flipped. So, if for a shape, a code is given A, let's say there is a triangle and the code is given A. Now, in second block, there is another triangle, but now the code is given B. There is a high probability that the triangle is present, but maybe it is flipped or rotated. So shape codes can also be affected if the shape is rotated or reflected. So we also have to take care of that while observing the questions. Consider size change. Now, this is also very important. The shape can be the same, but the size can increase or decrease. Let's move forward. All right. Analyze given code pairs. Now, as I said, the question will give you the hint itself. This is what I was talking about. The question will have some codes already given. You have to analyze the pattern of the codes, compare one code from another, and understand the pattern and similar features. You have to observe the similar features of the shapes. For example, in the previous example, we were observing the bubble patterns or the gray color. So what were we doing? We were observing the similar features. So similar features combined with similar codes will help you to understand which code stands for what part in the question or in the specific part. Use elimination technique. Now, elimination technique is the best technique you can opt in nonverbal reasoning, because as soon as you start eliminating the option that can never be the answer, you can focus on limited options and you can perform better in the exam. Practice with real example. That means as much as you will solve the previous year question papers, the mock question papers, as much as you will practice, you will gain confidence, and you can also improve your time by approaching a systematic approach, step-by-step analysis. We don't have to start all the questions from the scratch. Sometimes also we don't have to solve the entire code. Let's say there is a code with 3 letters. So do we need to solve each and every letter? No. We just have to maybe sometimes in questions look for 1 or 2 letters and then observe the options. If the option doesn't have any other option with the same letter, that means we don't have to look for any other options or any other letters. So smart work is always better than hard work. And also observe, while observing the question, when you are starting to do the topic, consider keeping a notebook and a pen with you, and always start with, writing the code and the part, so that you can gain confidence, and within few practices, you can leave your notebook and pen and do everything in your mind. But always start with a pen and paper in hand. Let's move forward. Okay. Just allow me a minute. All right, thank you for waiting. Yeah, so check for hidden pattern. Sometimes the code might be based on less obvious features. Sometimes the code you can observe will be very prominent, and you can see, for example, the previous example that we did, it was very prominent, but sometimes the code can be hidden. So you have to observe the hidden pattern also while doing the question. Codes can also be a combination of several features. It doesn't require to be only one feature. It can be a combination of 2 or 3 features inside the same shape. So also observe if the feature combined is making another shape, another letter. Practice visualization, as I said. Start the topic using a pen and paper in hand, and after you gain a little confidence, start doing everything in your mind, draw it out in your mind, and do visualization as much as possible. Okay. So sometimes what happens is we follow a similar set strategy that we have made or we have studied somewhere. Maybe I will tell you some strategies to follow, but what I will suggest you is make your own strategies. Sometimes what I am telling you to do and what you can do can be different, right? So figure out what works best for you and try to adapt the strategy. Maybe working out in a different manner works for you. Maybe what I am explaining you doesn't work for you. So you have to find out your own strategies and work what is best for you. All right, let's do some questions. We have understood lots of strategies, lots of tricks and tips. It's time for us to solve some questions now. Okay, so we have some questions on our screen, and there are different kinds of questions. And these questions, I can tell you, are not very easy level questions. These are exam style questions. These are the questions that you can observe exactly like these in the exam. So let's see what are these questions and how will we solve it. So first of all, as I said, we have to observe each and every shape and then look for similarities, right? Here, what I can see is I have the first shape, right? In the first shape, I can observe that I have 2 ovals, and we have R, V, and E. Now, in the second one, I can also see S, V, and F. V and V is again common in both of them, but I'm not sure V is the code of what. So if I'll observe the first shape and the second shape, what is common between these two? So if I'll observe it closely, I can see both of them are inclined towards the same direction. Both of them are facing the same direction. That means V here in the middle signifies which direction the shape is inclined towards, right? Now let's see the question. Now in the place of question mark, I can see that there is a shape that is inclined towards the right. And here also in the third shape, I can see whatever the shape here is inclined towards the right direction. That means for sure in the middle we have W. So what can we do? What we can do is we can eliminate, as I said. So we have to eliminate the shapes that are, eliminate the options that are not correct. So how can we do it? Let's see which are the option that doesn't have V in it, that doesn't have W in it. So I can observe that option A doesn't have W in it, option B doesn't have W in it, and option E doesn't have W in it. So what are the options that are left? So we are using the elimination method. We have C and D, so we have to opt from either C or D. Let's see something else that can help us. Now, what else can we look for? I can see F and F, that's common here. And if I look at this shape and this shape, what is common? What I can observe here is we have 3 shapes joined together. 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here. That means the last letter shows how many number of shapes are joined together. Here we have only 2 things joined together, and here also we have only 2 things joined together. That means the last thing should be E. Here we have the last thing E. That means C is our correct option. See, we only walked towards the 2 of the code. We didn't even have to look for the first code, but we already got our answer. So this is how we use different techniques to solve the codes. I hope question 1 was clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can write in the chat and we can proceed towards question 2. Okay, let's follow the same strategy that we learned, right? In question 2, again, we have to look for similarities. First of all, let's see what are the letters that are matching? I can observe A and A. Now, if I'll see in the question, we have three rectangles, 3 circles. That means A here shows the number of shapes. So in here, we have only 1 circle, and in here, we have only 1 L-looking shape. That means the middle one shows number of shape. So our code here that we want must have a B in it, right? It should have a B in it. Let's look at the options that has B in the middle. And let's do the elimination method. Option A doesn't have B in it, option D and option E. Again, we only have to focus towards B and C. That means 2 options. So we don't have to waste our time observing 5 options. Using elimination method, we can only observe 2 of the options and get our answer. Let's look for another common letter. Another common letter is J and J. Now J here is the common letter, and if I observe first shape and third shape, the common thing is both the shapes are black in color. So last letter shows the color of the shape. Here in option B and in option C, again we have J common, so we cannot use the elimination method here. In these kind of questions, we have to look for each and every code. Next up we have okay, now we have to look for if it's E or if it's F, right? So what I can observe here is F here and F here is common again. And F, which is common, shows that the shape is circle. That the shape is circle. That means we also have a circle here and we need F as our answer, right? So F here and F here shows what kind of shape is it. So our answer would be F, B, and J. Next up, if we'll move towards question 3, in question 3, we have again some lines and some crosses. If we'll proceed towards observing what's common, I can see R is common and D is common. Okay. R is common and D is common. Also, if I'll observe here where D is common, I can observe that we have only 1 cross in both the sticks, right? So does that mean the second letter means the number of crosses on the stick? If that is the answer, we can also observe the R part. In the R part, we can see that the crosses are starting from the top. The crosses are starting from the top. So if I observe according to that, if D shows that number of crosses, I can see in the example, in the option, sorry, only option number D has D in it. So we don't have to work for another code. We already got our answer just by observing one thing. So sometimes we can also get our codes just by observing one part of the question. That will save much of our time. Let's move towards question 4. Okay. Question 4 can be really tricky if we will not follow the right strategies. In question 4, I have to observe what kind of shapes are these. So I can see the shapes are pretty much same. We just have few changes here and there. So in question 4, I have O common. All right. In question 4, I have P common as well. In question 4, okay, one more thing that I can see common here is H. The H here is also common. Now, we have to look for the answer. For the answer part, we have to observe what are we looking for. In the question, I can see only one part is shaded. Now, here also one part is shaded. Here also one part is shaded. And what is common? T is common. T is common. That means the last thing, the last letter should be T. If we'll go with that, A is not the answer, D is not the answer, E is not the answer. Only B or C could be the answer. Okay, what else can we observe? Okay, we can also see I here. I and I is common here, and I and I is also telling you the number of shapes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 triangles, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles. That means the middle part will tell you how many triangles are there inside the shapes. So here if we'll count the number of triangles, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that means in the middle we want I. And that is only present in B. So the right answer would be B. I hope all the questions are clear and we can move forward. If you have any doubts in all these 4 questions we have done, we have covered, you can ask in the chat.
And a very good explanation, ma'am. It is really helpful,
Thank
I
you, sir.
believe. And questions are really very, very good in terms of examination. So students, please make a note of all these tips and tricks and how to approach questions when you write mock test or exam, real exam, I mean. Let's move on.
Exactly. Okay, so let's observe few more questions, and this time, let's follow some other strategies as well. What strategy is the best strategy according to you? So the best strategy is the one that saves your time and helps you with the accuracy as well. So if you're going with the correct accuracy, if you're getting right answers each time and you're saving your time with a certain kind of strategy, that strategy is the best one for you. So let's see what I follow personally and what I would suggest you personally. So one thing that I follow is deductive reasoning. So instead of going from the shape to the code, I go from the code to the shape. So I observe the code first. Here, if you'll observe, there are many codes given. And what I prefer is looking for the letter that's common, right? I can observe L here common, L here common as well. Okay. L and L is common, and both of the shapes are a triangle. What does that mean? L is showing that the shape is a triangle. Now, what shape do we have here? It's a rectangle. That means the starting shape should be K. There is a misprint here. We need C as well. KSC is the complete one. Okay. So yeah, let's come back to the question. This is a rectangle. And the rectangle means that the first letter in the rectangle is K. That means we have to look for a shape that has K in it. Let's go back to the elimination method. A, B, C are eliminated. We have D, either D or C is the answer. Now, there are only two things in the question. One is the shape, other is the pattern inside the shape, the pattern of the lines. If I'll observe the pattern of the line here, it is common as the pattern of the line in second shape and fourth shape. In second shape, we have the dotted line, right? In fourth shape, again, we have the dotted line or lines that are not connected with each other. And in both of the shape, what do we have common in the code? C and C. That means the last code will tell you the design inside the shape. Now, that means our code starts with K, ends with C. That is option number E. So clearly, we have got our answer in less than a minute. So if you are able to solve these codes in less than a minute, ideally, you should take 30 seconds to solve one question. But I would not expect you to do that, in the first practice. These questions will take lots of practice, but once you gain your practice, you will see the codes instantly. As soon as you will see the question, the codes will give you the hints that, hey, I'm sitting here, I'm hiding here, you have to look for me. So as soon as you will see the question, you have to look for the code and the answers, which is obviously hidden in the question. I hope question 5 is clear to you. Let's move towards question 6. So in question 6, as I said, the deductive reasoning part, let's go from the code to the shape. We have codes in which J and J are common. J and J are common and the shapes are also common. What does that mean? The first letter is telling you what kind of shape do we need. Now, in the question, what is the shape? The shape is same as what we have in the first one. And we have I as the code. So our code should start with I, which is either A or B. We have to eliminate C, D, or E. Okay, next, let's look for something common again. V and V is common. And what is common between the shapes here? Can you observe it? If anyone can observe and write in the chat, let's see how much you're observing. What is common in first shape and in second shape? You can use the chat box to answer as well. Also, if we'll observe the first shape and the second shape, we have V given, and we can also observe that both the shapes, yes, exactly. We have got the answers in the chat. Yes, both position of the shape. Well done. So the position of the shape is correct. Perfect. We have got the answers. Yes, right. The position of the shape. So we can see the position of the shape is bottom left, right? In the bottom left, both the shapes are present. Now in the question, we can see top right. Top right. So we have already got the first letter, that is I. What do you think is the answer? Is it A, which is IW, or is it B, which is IX? You can use the chat to answer. Okay. We have got the answer. Yes. Many of Jaya, Kumar, many of you are saying it's A. That is IW. Ethan is also saying it's AIW. That's correct. Very well done. The correct answer is I and W because W is telling you the position of the shape. Very well done. That means you are getting the topic quite well. All right. Okay. Yes, the correct answer is I and W, and that's how we solve a code. Shape code is termed as one of the most complicated topics because obviously it's codes and just, random letters and random shapes. And we get confused, like, how do we know which letter is showing which code? But when you follow a certain strategy to do something, when you do it with fun and not with stress, everything seems easy, right? So when you do with the flow and enjoy it with the passion, you will definitely get through any topic, be it hidden shapes, be it shape code, be it nets and cubes, building blocks, any topic. If you will follow a certain strategy and if you will practice as much as is required according to you, you will obviously gain confidence in the topic. Okay, enough of the talking. Let's move towards the next question. Next question says, okay, next question, one thing that's common between all the shape is that all the shapes are same, right? All the shape is exactly same. That makes it much more trickier. But if you'll observe what's common, I and I is common here. I and I is common, and I and I also shows that we have blank shapes. That means the first letter is telling you how the inside of the shape will look like. Here, the inside of the shape is diagonal lines, which is also in the first one. That means the shape will start with H. So we will cancel out B and E. We have A, C, and D. Now, what's the next one? How will we get to the next part? How will we know what's the correct answer? We have to observe how the position. Okay, someone is saying that it should be option E. Okay, let's see. So if all the shapes are same and we just have one thing that make us different is the design inside, the pattern inside. Okay. Malik is saying it can be option A. Let's see if it is option A. So if all the shapes are same and we just have one thing different that is inside option, then how will we know what is this next code? Now, if you'll observe the question, can you see the position of each shape is different? Now, in the first one, it is on top part. In the second one, it is in the bottom part. In the third one, it's the middle part, right? And this position and this position is same. So the answer should be T. So first one is H, second one is T. Many of you have written the correct answer. Very well done. Yes, Amina, it is C. Very good. Kavita, Amina, Kumar, many of you have written the correct answers. That's right. It is C, H, and T. And this question is very simple yet complicated if you do not observe the position of the shape. All right. I think we are making quite a good progress and we can move towards question 8. Okay. In question 8, again, we have quite a lot of circles and the circles have only some things that are different. But we will go towards our method that we were following and we will observe what is common, right? So X is common here, X is common here as well. All right. And if X and X is common, what is common in the shape? What's common to me is the design inside, right? The design inside. That means inside we have diagonal lines and the diagonal lines are moving towards one direction, right? So we can observe that the last letter is telling you what is inside of the shape, X and X. Now here also we have the same design inside, right? That means the answer needs an X, which is E. Many of you have already answered before me giving the answer, which shows that you have got the hang of the topic. Perfect. Yes, all of you are giving answers and I am really impressed because you have got the topic, you have got the understanding of the topic in quite a very less time. Very well done. Okay, just for my understanding, if the second code shows the design, what does the first code shows? What do we mean by F? Can anyone write in the chat? What do we mean by F? Meanwhile, we can move forward as well. The shading? I don't think so. Yes, Amina, that's the border. F shows, yes, the thickness of the shade. Perfect. The circle, how thick is the outer circle? Outside layer. That's correct. Okay. Can we move forward, please? Yes, Ethan, that's correct. Okay, let's observe 2 more questions. So now we have question 9. Okay. Now let's see if you can answer before I do. Let's see if you're quick enough to solve the question. So in question number 9, what I can observe is M is common here, M is common here, and what else is common is the direction of the shape. Both of the shapes are pointing toward. I've already got the answers. Okay, quite a good progress. In question 9, I can see both the shapes are pointing towards the top right corner. Now, this shape in the question is pointing down. This shape is pointing down. That means the shape should start with N. So we'll deduct. We will eliminate D and E. Very good. I've got the answers from many of you. That's a good response. So now the second shape. What does the second shape mean? That's very obvious. The number inside, the number of square. We have only one square here. That means NX. Very well done. All of you have written the answers in the chat. Very well done. Okay, let's do one more question. That's question 10. Question 10 looks a little bit complicated, but not. Okay, Kavita has already given the answer. Okay, F and F. All right, F and F. And what's common in F and F? What's common to me here is that there's no shading, right? There is no shading in any of the triangular part. The screen has gone blank to me. Sanjay sir, is it blank to you as well? Sir, are you, can you hear me?
So yes, I can. What happened?
Sir, the screen is blank. I can see the black screen. And I think everyone in the comment is also saying they can observe only black screen.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
Is it back?
Yeah. Yes, it's back.
All right, sorry about that.
It's okay. Let's move forward. Yeah. So we were doing question 10. I think the screen is visible to everyone now. Yeah. So in question 10, if you'll observe the first one and the second one, I cannot see any of the shaded triangles, right? That means the question, the F shows that we don't need shading, but here the G shows we do need shading, right? That means A and B is eliminated. Next, what does the second part shows? Here, I need the response from you all. You have to write in the chat, what does the second letter shows? To me, the right answer should be D. That is GC. GC should be the right answer. Now, why is it GC? What does C represent here? We can understand that G represent the shaded part of the triangle. What does C represents here? Position. That's right, Amina. Now, C represents the position. As you can see, the triangle is flipped down, right? The pointed part of the triangle is flipped down. So C is showing the position. Very well done, Amina. That's right. Okay. So I think you have understood the topic now, and I think you can understand how we are solving the codes, right? I think you can also understand what strategies you can use for the codes. One thing that I would like to add in here specifically is whenever you are doing the questions of shape codes, it's better to always look at the options as well. So instead of just observing the questions first and then looking at the options, look at the options first and see what's common. In question number 9 also, you can see N is repeating 3 times in the option. in question 10, you can see G is repeating 3 times in the option. Sometimes, I'm just giving you a trick, sometimes when you get stuck in a question and nothing is helping, so you can use an intelligent guess. Now, what's an intelligent guess? Intelligent guess is the one which is well calculated. So let's say I'm not able to understand question 10. I have tried all my strategies, but I cannot get an answer. What can I do? I can use an intelligent guess and I can see G is repeating 3 times. So obviously, the correct answer has a G in common, right? So what I can do is I can eliminate A and B and I can guess either C, D, or E is the answer. So I can just put a random guess. So it can still, give you a high probability of maybe getting the right answer. So I hope the topic is clear to you. If you have any doubts, anything in mind, you can ask me right now. Sanjay sir, is there anything you need to add?
Okay. Great. I was also learning along. It's not easy, but I think, as you said, if we practice, it makes
Definitely,
sense
yes.
and we start enjoying it if we
Right.
connect the dots, right? So it's all about practice and your interest. So love it and do as much as questions at home. Don't be afraid of it and keep continuing practice at home. So let's move and see what's next. Right, all the answers which we already discussed. Ma'am, are you going to cover these as well?
These are some extra questions. If you want me,
Okay.
we can continue.
No, I think you have transferred the idea and tips and
Yeah.
tricks how to solve these questions. And I can see the very good comments as well, very interactive, enjoyable, and helping kids. So let's touch base what left in this webinar quickly. Great, some more questions you can try at home. And also do not forget, we're going to give you a free online test as well. Everyone who is attending this webinar will get details about the logging in to our learning management system, where you can attempt a free online test having exam style questions. So this is something we wanted to let you know, that how we teach our students in Sahyog methodology. So quickly, I just wanted to touch base that we have 4 parameters, and our strategy for level reinforcement approach, or you can say, which is something we have developed based on our experience in last 10 years. We work on reverse engineering basis. As you can see, even the class, before the class starts, we deliver the pre-lecture material, which is interactive notes like you have seen today, and containing exam style questions as well. And when the teacher goes into the class, they discuss about the learning and understanding of that topic. And then we kick off the discussion about that particular topic. Next, in the class itself, we will have quizzes. And as I said, exam style questions, tips and tricks always being discussed. And once a child is exposed to the exam style questions, they will better understand the topic. This is something we have seen in past, and all the 10,000 students who have passed and have got top grammar schools. You can see the testimonials on our website and the feedback. They have all appraised this approach. Feedback and reinforcement is fourth, but before that, we have assessment and analysis, which is very, very important. Anything you teach, you have to understand whether the kids have got it or not. We do it through our face-to-face mock test, as you can see, or most of you must be attending or may be attending at one of our center in UK. You can do online as well, and there's an option for uh, parents traveling from long distance who can't go to the center. You can do online, but that is the best way to assess the student. We additionally, we have every weekend assignment and test as well, which is topic based. Whatever topic we are covering in the classes, we assess the students' ability whether they are able to understand those questions, and we do mark and understand their weakness and strong points, which we discussed in the classes and in our doubt clearing sessions, and also reinforce the same through our parents teacher meeting or direct while we are talking or interacting with the kids. So this is something, a brief summary. We have various courses running, not only just 11 plus, but JCSE and A levels as well. Your feedback is vital. If you need anything in weeks to come before September, any topic you want us to cover, please feel free to reach out to us. And we will be happily supporting our community around 11 plus GCSE or A levels through these methodology, what we just explained. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask now or type on the chat box, or you can email us as well at info@sahyog.co.uk. We have got our dedicated hotline, as well as you might know my number. WhatsApp, you can WhatsApp me at 07585707535. Okay. That's it. This is the question answer session. So, as I said, you can ask now, or you can send your questions at info@sahayog.co.uk. Your suggestions, feedback, very much welcome. If there is any topic you think of, you might need attention or need extra attention from the experts in Sahyog, we can arrange a webinar. Please do let us know. Okay, once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank you, Alice ma'am, for walking us through these tough questions and tips and tricks, which was very, very important for kids to know. I enjoyed a lot, and hope kids have got the idea and they will be able to apply this knowledge in the exam, mock exams now, and real exam in September. All the best. Good luck. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you, ma'am.